What is up, Tiger fans? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I will be talking about everything that you need to know, just things that we've heard from the beginning of Clemson football's fall camp. So, of course, the season starts in about a month, and there's a lot of stuff going on in Clemson, of course, fall camp, and everything that goes in there. And Swinney had a very important press conference on last Friday that I will be talking about in this video. So without any further ado, let's begin with probably the best news of the video. Justyn Ross has officially been cleared to play this season. So this was the long-awaited news. Justyn Ross will be playing in 2021. He will be eligible to play. So he missed all of last season, has not played since the LSU game, the national championship game, due to a congenital fusion condition in sort of the neck, spine area. It's a little confusing, and I don't have a great understanding of what the issue actually was, but it seems like it wasn't actually a real injury. But once again, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. You can do some research for yourself. You probably don't want to hear it from me. But anyways, Justyn Ross being cleared to play is awesome. His freshman season had 1,000 receiving yards for the Tigers, has a very strong sophomore season as well. And then this year will be his junior year, and he's expected to come in and make an impact. I assume that he's going to start a little slow, but just him being even able to play is awesome. And right now he's actually in COVID protocols, so he's actually not practicing yet. But he will get a couple of weeks of practice in before the season begins. Of course, Clemson does play Georgia in the season opener. And now for probably the worst news of the video. I didn't make a video on this when the news first came out. So, Fred Davis, backup corner for the Tigers, contending for a starting job actually across from Andrew Booth, who's had a very good camp so far. Fred Davis, so I'm not sure when this was, probably a little over a week ago. Fred Davis, he was involved in a wreck on the interstate, and basically 55 mile per hour was the speed limit, and Fred Davis was going 115 miles per hour. He's going over double the speed limit, which is absolutely ridiculous. And the guy, he was actually in a mail truck. The other driver was seriously injured, but luckily nothing worse than that. And Fred Davis is okay. He's been practicing, but obviously there's going to be some discipline. That's just stupid. And Swinney, he does not put up with that kind of stuff. So Fred Davis driving more than double the speed limit, it's absolutely stupid. So Dabo, he's going to have some discipline, and this was part of the press conference. Of course, everybody's sort of been wondering what's going to happen to Fred Davis. Is he going to miss the Georgia game? Is he going to be kicked off the team? He's not going to be kicked off the team. I anticipate that he will be missing that season opener against Georgia, which is really going to hurt the Tigers. But Swinney is not afraid to suspend his top players in big games. So Fred Davis, they're going to have sort of some internal consequences. Dabo didn't really release to the public what the consequences would be for Fred Davis, but I kind of anticipate that he's not going to be active for that Georgia game, but he is practicing. It's not like he's away from the team, so we'll just have to see what happens there. Hopefully, of course, the other driver makes a good recovery, and hopefully, for Clemson's sake, Fred Davis can be out there in week 1. But now we're going to move on to some of sort of the rumors that we've heard from practice. So Swinney is letting the media watch practices instead of them just leaving after some of the earlier sessions. They're able to watch the whole practice. So we've really gotten to hear a lot about how this Clemson team looks. And we are going to get started. There's a couple things that I want to break down in this video. The first thing, and I'm super, super excited about this, Xavier Thomas looks ready to go. So Xavier Thomas, he's had some health issues, some personal issues. He just hasn't really been ready to go over the past year or so. But now this year, XT is looking great in practice, and that's according to multiple media sources. So Xavier Thomas, of course, Myles Murphy is on one side at defensive end, and of course on the inside, Clemson has Tyler Davis, Bryan Bresee, and Bryan Bresee looks like a monster. This guy apparently, of course, I'm not there at the practices, but this is just based off of reports. Bryan Bresee looks like a monster. This guy looks, it's crazy what he's able to do. And of course, we saw flashes of that last year, and a lot of people were expecting a big jump from Bresee this upcoming season. But that's excellent just to see Bryan Bresee really developing, and Myles Murphy's a great player as well. But Xavier Thomas has looked great in practice, and that's awesome because since the flashes that we saw in his freshman year, he really has not made a great impact for the Tigers. Came back towards the end of last season and made some plays, but he's going to be contending to be the starting defensive end across from Myles Murphy. And if he can get that job, I have some confidence that he can have a very, very good season this upcoming year for the Tigers. That's awesome to see Xavier Thomas healthy and ready to go and playing really, really well in practice. And next up, Will Shipley is fast. So we knew coming in that Will Shipley was going to be a very explosive player, and I apologize for the quality of this photo on your screen. But we knew coming into the season that Will Shipley was going to be a super explosive player who Clemson kind of needed to get some touches to just because of how fast and how explosive he is. Now, he did fumble a punt, but, you expect that from a freshman. They're not going to be perfect, but hopefully that's not an issue. It has been an issue for the Tigers in the past, but Will Shipley, he's a guy that we want returning, and we want him to get touches out of the backfield. So, starting left tackle Jordan McFadden, he actually said that Shipley, he believes, is the fastest guy on the team. And honestly, that wouldn't surprise me too much, but Will Shipley is going to be a scary, scary player for opposing defenses to face off against in the coming years. This guy is going to be so great. I'm super duper excited for Will Shipley to just get out there and get some touches because he has the potential to be a super explosive player. And I don't want to hype him up too much, but some people have sort of been throwing around the name CJ Spiller as a comparison for Will Shipley, and that's a very, very high level of football that Shipley would have to play to live up to that bill, but I feel like he could be. Now, I don't want to compare him to CJ Spiller. He's been on campus for, 7 months, but I am really excited for Will Shipley. It sounds like he's really fast and explosive, and that's exactly what Clemson needs. Next up, Ajou. So Ajou seems like he is having a very, very good fall camp for the Tigers. Came in as sort of an inexperienced guy that's super athletic but just doesn't know the game very well, and he's still struggling. He's run the wrong routes occasionally, and he's dropped some passes, but he's young and he's going to do that. But this guy, he's super athletic and a physical receiver. I think he has the potential to be a breakout star for the Clemson Tigers this upcoming season. So Ajou, hopefully he does have a big year for Clemson. Of course, we have E.J. Williams, who sounds like he's had a very good camp as well. Justin Ross, hopefully, will come back. And Frank Ladson and Joe Ngata, they just need to stay healthy. But Ajou could be sort of the breakout guy. Also, one guy to watch is true freshman Beau Collins. He's looked very, very good. Next up, Phommachanh has been making a great recovery. So if you do remember, Phommachanh tore his Achilles in the spring game. So that's back in the spring, of course. And, an Achilles injury, that is not easy to recover from. That can take sometimes over a year for players to recover from. But Phommachanh could be back very, very early in the season. The doctors have done a great job helping him get back. He's out there practicing and throwing some pretty good passes as well. And another guy that has been throwing some very good passes is starting quarterback DJ Uiagalelei. And it sounds like DJ is just a beast. And that's what we expected in Phommachanh. Hopefully he can come back and be a big, an important piece, of course, being DJ's backup. That would be awesome if we can get Taisun back fairly early in the season and him coming back healthy. It sounds like he has been recovering great, and it sounds like he's been improving as well on the football field. Next up, Justyn Foster. His recovery has been a little bit slower, but he ended up sort of retiring from football, had some issues related to COVID, and he actually ended up retiring from football, but then decided to come back to the team. And while he's not in pads practicing yet, or even in a jersey, he has been out there with the team doing some light work, so hopefully Justyn Foster is able to have a healthy recovery and able to get in a jersey, even if he's not the same All-ACC caliber player that he was just 2 years ago. Just him getting back on the field would be a huge accomplishment. And it sounds like he's been doing a great job. Sounds like he's super motivated to attempt to get back out there and play for the Tigers. Next up, we have a very, very interesting subject, the running back battle that is going on in Clemson. So on your screen, you see Lyn-J Dixon on the left and Kobe Pace on the right. So I made a video about Lyn-J Dixon earlier this summer on the channel, and I'm pretty confident that Lyn-J is going to have a big year. But it sounds like Kobe Pace has been getting a lot of first-team touches, and that does not surprise me. Kobe Pace has had a very sort of exciting first season. There's a lot of excitement around Kobe Pace. He was a high 3-star, 4-star recruit, so he wasn't a super highly rated recruit even, but he had a very promising first year, and it sounds like he's been improving a lot, and he actually could end up taking the job from Lyn-J Dixon. I still do believe that is Lyn-J's job, but Pace is going to get a lot of touches, and Will Shipley, who we talked about earlier, he is going to have an impact as well. Will Shipley should have an impact as well. I think Clemson's going to have 3 main running backs this year that are all going to have an impact, and I'm really curious to see what ends up happening here. I think that Lyn-J still has the edge, but it sounds like Kobe Pace has been making a lot of great plays and gaining a lot of ground on Lyn-J Dixon in this running back battle. And that is all there is for this video. One more thing that I didn't actually talk about, but the offensive linemen, there's some young offensive linemen in this Clemson program that people are very, very excited about. One is Dietrich Pennington. Another is Marcus Tate, 5-star freshman. Tristan Lee also could be a solid player. But it sounds like we have some young offensive linemen that we're going to be developing that could be starters in the future. But right now, the more experienced guys are the starters. And, it sounds like the offensive line is still okay. And, of course, you've got a young quarterback and potentially a pretty inexperienced running back group. Of course, Dixon is a senior, but Pace, Shipley, they're both young. So that offensive line really needs to step up this year. It was bad last year. It really needs to step up and improve, and hopefully it does. But Clemson, we've just got to get the best 5 guys out there. I'm a little worried about Jordan McFadden moving to left tackle just because he isn't as familiar with that position. But I'm still very, very excited to see this upcoming football season. A lot of good things coming out of fall camp, including, of course, that news about Justyn Ross. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments, who do you think is going to win the Clemson running back battle? Do you think it will be Lyn-J Dixon, Kobe Pace, or could Will Shipley even win it? I want to know what you guys have to say in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and go subscribe to my main channel and my live stream channel. If you're not already subscribed to either of those, they will each be linked in the description, as they always are. And I'll see you guys next time. Go Tigers.